Okay, some more lifestyle advice with our Jeannette Jackson. She's here this morning with two willing guinea pigs, Paul Calm and Victoria Apted, to talk about reducing stress in our lives. We're all stressed, Jeannette, aren't we, in this day and age?
Yes, we are.
Not enough time in the day.
Absolutely. Cash rich, time poor.
And you guys, presumably, in order to agree to do this, are either insane or a bit stressed and feel you need a bit of advice. What's stressing you out in your life?
Well, I've got a very busy lifestyle. I've got a job that's very busy with quite a lot of demands, and then I play quite a lot of music, and my partner lives in Wales, so I'm all the time rushing around. It's I quite enjoy it, but it is a bit crazy.
Very difficult to wind down when you're so busy all the time.
Yeah, sort of juggling things, yeah.
What about you, Victoria?
Similar, there's not enough hours in the day. Similar to Paul, I run a busy little travel agent over in Eccles. It just never stops, but it's the little things as well that kind of stress me out a bit more.
That's the thing, because we're all busy, but like you said, we enjoy it, we like what we're doing. So how can we manage doing all these things in our lives without letting it get to us, without coming home with migraines and stressed out shoulders?
Well, these two examples are extremely common. I mean, what they're basically saying is that literally there's not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, time is a finite resource, so we're only going to get 24 hours in the day at end up.
There's nothing we can do about that, Jeannette.
No, there's no, unfortunately, I've tried, however. But what we can work on, actually, is our energy and working on our stress levels, so that we can actually enjoy the stress. I mean, Paul's saying that, actually, he's got a really nice lifestyle, he just sometimes gets quite overwhelmed. So how can we more or less watch the stress and enjoy the pressure? That's a good thing.
And be pushed by the pressure, because it can be good for you,
absolutely.
can't it?
It's stimulating. I'll tell you, one of the things that's really stressful is sitting at home unemployed. You know, you've got so much time in the world, but actually the amount of stress that's generated from that, because we need interaction, we need goals, we need stimulation, but actually what we want to do is enjoy that rather than feeling completely overwhelmed by that, because that can sometimes be it can immobilise us sometimes.
Okay, so we're going to put together a 5-week programme.
Yes, we are, because I absolutely believe, as a stress management consultant, I go into companies all over the UK, but in particular in Manchester, and I see this all the time. And for me, to really make stress management successful, it has to be a multifaceted, almost a change management programme, because stress is often seen as a soft skill. And in actual fact, if you're off sick, then actually you're not in the office doing your job.
Right.
And what we've seen now statistically is that the amount of days that people lose at work, you know, when you were kids, you used to have one day off school and think, well, it's Thursday, I might as well have Friday off as well.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen that that's changed now, and what's happening is there's actually long-term sick, and this is costing such a lot of money for businesses. So what we're wanting to do is do a multifaceted approach. So we look at nutrition, we look at lifestyle, we look at relationships, we look at communication skills, so it's a full package.
But you can't do that overnight, can you?
No, this is what I mean. We need to set out some goals here, right? What is the ultimate aim, and how can we just in short incremental steps actually reach that goal?
So Victoria, what would your aim be at the end of the 5 weeks? How do you want to be feeling?
Not stress-free, because nobody's stress-free, but just days that are easier, really. You know, nothing's easy, but I get stressed from leaving the house, and then it starts me off on a bad footing for the whole day. So for me, it would dramatically change my life for it to be less stressed. It really is a main thing.
I just like to feel slightly more in control rather than my life controlling me. It'd be quite nice to be in control a bit more.
To feel like you know exactly what you're doing.
Yes, I mean I do to a degree, but sometimes it just gets a bit out of control.
Well, are there things in both of your lives that you're willing to stop doing in order to reach that level?
Yeah.
Things that you're willing to sacrifice. So how are we going to start?
Well, I mean, Victoria's a brilliant example for me, because look at her. She's stunningly
gorgeous,
beautiful. Gorgeous. She's got a great career. Her fiance loves her. They're getting married. They've got loads of things going on, and she's a brilliant example for me, because at 20, whatever, very early 20s, early 20s, you know, it's quite cute to be a bit stressed, and you know, I know she's saying that she can't find her keys and she can't find her mobile. All them things are quite cute, but what she's saying at the moment is a day is completely packed and overwhelmed. Now let's fast forward 10 years time to kind of mid-30s, all right? Put a couple of kids in that scenario, all right? Mortgages, responsibilities, bills, and that's when we can
deep breaths, Victoria.
Wow, that's when we can because the thing with stress is it doesn't show up on an X-ray, right? It's insidious, and it's quite silent until things start to go wrong.
Until it goes too far.
Exactly.
So So what will we do? What will we do? What will the objective be before we meet again next week?
Okay, well, one of the first things I'm going to do is certainly, obviously, as a nutritionist, is look at the nutrition, because from my experience, when you feel healthy and well, all right, then the challenges seem less imposing, don't they? You know, some mornings we just get out of bed and we just feel brilliant, and the day, you know, is less stressful and less challenging. You know, I often think, you know, remember them dim and distant times when we fell in love, and you know, you didn't care if it rained, you didn't care if your boss was awful, you know, whatever.
You just get on with it, don't you?
Oh, it's brilliant, I'm so happy. And actually, the external aspects of your life have less of an impact on our internal physiology and mind, and that's what we're wanting to get to, really. So we're certainly going to start on nutrition, get them to feel well, all right, get them to feel awake.
Do you feel like you eat well, or do you feel like that could be a negative impact on your stress levels?
I do enjoy my food.
Nothing wrong with that, though, isn't there?
I eat fairly well, but I could maybe have a slightly more balanced diet. I suspect I could eat better.
What about you, Victoria?
I believe I eat well. There's always room for improvement, so I'll give it a try.
Okay. And that's a really valid point, because very many people say they eat well, but as a nutritionist, what I'd be doing is designing very specifics around food, because the thing is, when you put food in your mouth, it gets changed into chemicals, and them chemicals can depict what we experience and what we feel. So for example, if you eat foods that are high maybe in a substance called dopamine, all right, then that can make you feel very agitated, on the edge, quite addictive, and we don't want that at all.
What's that found in commonly?
Dopamine. Well, dopamine comes from, it's getting chemical, an amino acid called tyrosine, and tyrosine is found in any food that contains protein. So things like chicken.
Gosh!
Yeah, I know. But actually, it gets more complex than that, because every time you eat chicken, you're not going to get a dollop of dopamine, if there is such a thing, because it is about the kind of foods that you mix and match it with.
Right.
But I mean, you know, so for example, if you do put some dopamine in, on a plus side, dopamine makes you feel it's great mental clarity, it makes you feel very focused, it brings your attention span absolutely spot on. So really, you do want to eat foods that are dopamine rich at lunchtime, because often people have an afternoon slump, don't they? And they feel quite lacking in energy around 2-3 o'clock. So what we're going to do is we're going to balance the diet, so they're getting the dopamine when they need it without it making them feel anxious,
so often it's
and
but not what you eat, it's when you eat it that has a big impact. Okay, well, thanks, Jeanette. Best of luck this week. Hope you don't find it more stressful having to interact with Jeanette all week. Not really kidding. Good luck, and we'll see you next week. Do join us again in a few minutes for live music, sorry Jeanette, with Will Tang and the results of a very spooky dinner date with Byron. See you then.